cooled engine, pushing out 272 brake horsepower, but it carries additional weight to even out its performance against the other Class 1 cars such as the Porsche Carrera 2 and the 944 Turbo. In Class 2, the 968 Club Sport. Unlike the Carrera, it's a water-cooled four-cylinder engine pushing out 250 brake horsepower, but it too has to carry additional weight to give the older, less sophisticated 911 3.2 Carreras a chance. And finally, Class 3. The 944 Porsche, like the 968, has a water-cooled engine in the front. That pushes out 165 brake horsepower, but it carries extra weight to even things out with the earlier 924s. Each class is identified by a coloured strip across the windscreen. Class 1 orange, Class 2 green, and Class 3 yellow.
Silverstone, Pirelli Porsche Cup. And as ever, the fastest runners in qualifying have drawn their grid positions out of a hat. So starting on row 1, Mark Sumter in car 5 and Richard Finney in car number 4. Johnny Molem behind them, car number 97. There he is on the second row of the grid. And beautiful weather and a large crowd in attendance. Our cameraman, Jason Saunders, the fastest of the Class 2 qualifiers, just behind the 928 GTS of Graham Langford, one of the Class 1 men. Down they stream at this point successfully towards the first corner, but then suddenly breaking loose and cutting across the road, just failing to substantially damage his car and getting on his way again, much the wiser, hopefully, is Phil DeWitt, car number 38. That will undoubtedly have induced a few coronaries further back down the grid. And let's view this Silverstone International Circuit through the windscreen of Jason Saunders. Through come the lead group, Mark Sumter out front in car number 5, but somebody throwing out a lot of smoke behind them. Here he comes, trailing sparks as well, a very damaged 911 Carrera. And that is car 34, Dave Bennett. And that is where he picks up his damage, and that's what happens to DeWitt as well. And you have to say that DeWitt had a miraculous escape here. All the brake lights come on, and somehow they all missed him. Look at this, looking back from Mark Sumter, under pressure from 22, Godfrey Jones, and 97, Johnny Molem. Jones has gone through, Molem's pushing. He's looking for a way past, and so is Richard Finney in the 944 Turbo. Well, Finney held back at the moment, but Sumter has dropped a couple of spots there going into the complex. Not a successful run down through bridge from him. And the 944 is getting perilously close. Don't touch us. Don't push. He doesn't need to. Richard Finney is away. And excitement behind for Jason Saunders as well, coming onto the straight, the start-finish straight here. So, change of lead. Godfrey Jones leads. Johnny Molem second. Third now, Richard Finney, car number 4. So, rear engine, front engine. And then rear engine in the terms of Mark Sumter, who's slid back to 4th. So, can Godfrey Jones hang on now? Well, the newer machine of Johnny Molem, superbly prepared by the guys at AFN's racing team, is right on his back bumper and looking even closer. And Johnny has really got his dander up, very fired up at the moment. Looking for a way of making this passing move, and maybe under bridge. Thought about it, but not quite close enough to actually gain any advantage there. But he is very close indeed as they come through Priory and Brooklands. He looks inside, doesn't quite have enough momentum there to make it past either. So Godfrey Jones hanging on, runs very wide. There is a chance for Johnny Molem. Just a bit of oversteer, maybe a little touch there. Maybe a little touch between them. Godfrey Jones recovers, but he lost momentum, and Johnny Molem is through. And I have to say, that probably means Johnny Molem is away as well. Because now, moving up and looking to try and find a way past is Richard Finney. The 944 Turbo is going to engage itself with the back of Godfrey Jones's 993. Well, Molem with a couple of cars' length breathing space. Down the gearbox, hard on the brakes, turning right over the curves, avoiding the exit curb, and then riding them all the way through the S's. Mark Sumter there, holding a watching brief behind them, trying to get back onto terms, which is punishing pushing on the brakes here, very tricky, again coming out of a fast left-hander, braking hard, this tight right-hander, very high curves on the exit, absolutely to be avoided at all costs, especially in low-slung machinery like these. Oh, Richard Finney with the 944 turbo, looking very threatening indeed now in third place. Johnny Molam starting to ease away, and that's because of this battle. Godfrey Jones is really far more concerned with Finney than Molam at the moment, and wisely so. After all, Molam has passed him, and so too perhaps is Finney alongside into Copse. Oh, braving it out. And Jones, little hesitation there, perhaps just a little lift as he saw the 944 lancing down alongside. These guys not going into Copse absolutely flat, not if they want to stay on the track on the exit at any rate. And Molam really hustling his car over those curbs. Right again with our friendly cameraman Jason Saunders. This is what that looks like. Hard on the brakes, turning right at Beckett, and then using the curb, picking up speed. From the outside now you can see he's using the curbs there pretty low. There he is leading Class 2, and there in second in Class 2, car number 35, Henry Pearman in the 911. And another 968 Club Sport in third position, David Ellis. And the battle for fourth is a lively one. Phil DeWitt involved in there. Car number 44, Michael Hughes. Leading them is 39 Paul Fuller, then 38 Phil DeWitt. Down they come on the brakes. Oh dear, DeWitt's losing it. That tail, once it goes in a rear-engine Porsche, is not coming back in a hurry. And DeWitt again, as the field streams past, avoids damage. Oh, and also spinning out Michael Hughes in his avoidance of Phil DeWitt's problem. So Johnny Molam coming up behind some of the slower cars. Every light on. He's even got the fog lights on the back. The blue flags are waving, so the Class 3 944s know that the leader's on his way, or somebody in their class who's suddenly developed rocket power. They get out of the way anyway. And Molam unhindered. Very smooth performance indeed from him. And there in the middle of the traffic, the red car of Richard Finney in second. And a couple of back markers away, third place Godfrey Jones in 22. So Molam using the traffic wherever he can to put a physical barrier between himself and second and third place. Well, the curse of the camera mercifully seems to be sparing our Class 2 leader, Jason Saunders. There he is. He's our cameraman in this race. Car number 33, still leading his category, as Johnny Molam does the Class 1 cars. Now slips past second place in Class 3, and that is Adrian Bolton. Shadowed still by Richard Finney in car 4, but Finney is showing no signs of getting onto his tail or being any kind of a threat. And they're on the last of 12 laps of the Silverstone International Circuit anyway. Finney comfortably allowed past by the slower car 3 man. I think he was allowing him past and not actually having an incident. Tom Segru's got the indicators on. He says, I'm going to stay over to the left. You can go whichever way you want. And Johnny Molam does so. Tom Segru there, car number 66, leading Class 3. And he will win it, unless he breaks down within our sight, which he's not wont to do. Tom Segru, a long-time racer in this championship, and a very successful Porsche racing exponent. So into the complex for the last time. Priory, Brooklands, and then the long right-hand sweep, which is Luffield nowadays. A mid to late apex, aiming at the telegraph pole and the stand as you get onto the throttle. Not even needing to use the curb, he's short shifting it through to the line, slowing it down as the checkered flag greets the victor. So Johnny Molam wins again to further extend his championship lead. Richard Finney second, Jason Saunders and Henry Pearman in Class 2, Tom Segru and Adrian Bolton in Class 3. Thruxton for the third round. 1997 is the fifth year of Pirelli's sponsorship of the Porsche Cup and Porsche Classic. So who better to tell us about their control tyres than marketing director Giacchino Del Balzo.
Motorsport is the first R&D test for any kind of development of tyres. So whatever we do for racing and for motorsport, it is the first step to develop the tyres. So the same compound, the same technology is very good and helpful for creating the type of street tyres. We in fact use the same tyres, which is a P0, is a P0 system for the Porsche Cup, which are the same which are homologated for the Porsche street version. It's called P0. Now this one here is the asymmetrical, which is the homologation for the street version. The one you see here on my left are all the tyres for the racing activities. They basically have the same compound, which is silica, Kevlar, and special polymers, which they are very good for handling extremely high, severe cornering conditions. So it's a perfect tyre for racing and also for street cars.
So, to the grid then, the third round of the championship, the Pirelli Porsche Cup here at Thruxton. On pole position, David Jones in his 993. What's a 993? An arm and a leg, apparently. Alongside him there, you saw Chris Healy. Behind Chris Healy on the grid, starting fourth, Richard Finney, both of them in 944 turbos. Johnny Molam in his 993. And the first four fastest drivers in qualifying picking their grid places out of a hat, just to give everybody some chance of fighting off Johnny Molam. He's won the first two rounds of the championship, and as the red lights go to green, I'm afraid the onus is on everybody else to try and keep him behind. Riding in the 944 turbo of Richard Finney, and you can see, oh my word, it's indeed a very, very crossed up Robert Babbickham. Well, his 911 Carrera 2 spun across the field. He had a demon start, but I'm afraid rather blew it. There are the Class C cars in the middle of the field, chasing the leaders, and some of them already heading over the gravel. Well, let's have a look again. Mercifully, we've got a camera with Robert Babbickham. We can enjoy this in its entirety. Alongside Johnny Molam, a great start onto the curb. Watch the hands, that's where it all went wrong. Oh, my goodness. Oh, he clattered the barrier, but I can't believe that a field charging towards him at that speed, every single one of them missed. Fantastic stuff. Oh, I'm feeling quite out of breath myself. Oh, no, and another one. Chris Healy's 944 turbo. That's not the right way around, Chris. And he started second on the grid as well. Well, Johnny Molam's opponents are taking themselves out of the fray, all except for David Jones. Jones in the number 22 yellow car. Johnny Molam now pulling alongside in 97. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's a very expensive bit of road filling going on there. David Jones into second place then. Johnny Molam leads this one. Through the left-hander they come, accelerating hard, 300, 200, onto the brakes, hard, 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 down for Campbell, the right-hander, Cobb, the left-hander, and then dropping away downhill towards Seagrave, the right-hander. Oh, and tyre swill all over the place from Finney's car. Richard Finney, 944 turbo. Third place at the moment, hammering it on the limiter, and then they swing left-handed. Look at the bounce all over those bumps there. And he's got Graham Langford behind him. Graham Langford in 28, the 928 GTS. These cars, as you can see, although they are heavily modified for racing, still seem to be very bouncy around the circuit, certainly compared to the single-seaters we've been watching around this Thruxton track. And, well, they should be. They've got at least some suspension travel. Well, David Ellis, number 36, one of the Class 2 cars, slightly less modified, slightly less powerful. Started 14th and now being passed, and that's the recovering Babbickham. So he's going to have a story or two to tell in the bar afterwards. Obviously his progress on the first lap suggests he might have been in the bar first, but we shouldn't suggest that sort of thing at all. Johnny Molam leads it comfortably then. Second place hanging on is David Jones. And Jones with a 944, and the 928 right behind him. So a nice smattering of Porsche machinery. Rear engine, front engine, oh dear, oh dear. Richard Finney threading the eye of the needle and somehow avoiding going off afterwards as well. Came in alongside Jones, very hot indeed into the complex. Goodness knows how he held that one together. Graham Langford might have an idea. There he is, watching it all and trying to get involved as well. Oh, he touches him. Langford goes alongside. And is that a puncture? Yes, it is. That's why Langford spun. He's punctured, I'm sure. So too is Jones, very probably. Well, riding with Vatican. There is Langford at the side of the track. But our attention is drawn elsewhere, ladies and gentlemen, all by Tom Segru, the class leader of the Class 3 cars. Let's think he's going to finish in that position this time. So riding again with Vatican, round the back we are here, scoring away at the wheels, just making the exit. And there is Jones. I'm afraid David Jones is out of it. Yes, looks like that damage has put both of them out of it. And this is what happened to Tom Segru. There he is in the black and silver car, just being gently helped into that delicate pirouette. And who's this? Wheeling his way back up the field at a great rate of knots. It's Robert Vatican, number 1. And he's making the most of this chance to drive past everything in sight, isn't he? Headlamps ablaze. Bobby stereo turned right up as well. There, in the middle of the pack, is the Porsche Boxer. And a look again at that collision. Well, it was a racing incident there. Langford and Jones both looking to use the same part of the track. And both of them have to race the result. Vatican picking up more places. Again, feeling the car's way around. It's very, very fast indeed around here. You want to know how quick a 911 goes? I can tell you that a 1300cc Mini Amelia can reach 130 miles an hour around the back straight there. Just imagine what a brand new Porsche Carrera or a 993 can do. Nothing bear thinking about, does it? Right behind him, there's this Class 2 battle. Phil DeWitt getting a little bit out of shape and slipping past him. Jason Saunders, the number 33 machine. And on this track where there's a lot of high speed running, the Class 2 and indeed some of the Class 3 machines much closer to the leaders. It's not all on grunt out of slower corners. Oh dear, dear. 43, Marcus Fothergill, and 31, Richard True, come to grief in a big way. And here is the battle for third. Vatican watching the two tail-sliding 911s ahead of him. He's in fifth at the moment, and slipping past into third goes Mark Sumter in the blue car. So fourth then for number 3, David Saunders, but not if Vatican can help it. He's charging, this man, isn't he? He's moving up into fourth place. Is he? Is he? Just listening for the contact. No, they get through unscathed. Fighting the tail of the car all the way around there off the apex on the bump. What a race Robert Vatican is having. Now chasing down the third place man. Mark Sumter ahead. And somewhere lurking around his rear quarters, I'm sure, David Saunders in his number 3 911 Carrera. Yes, defending as they come up under braking, Vatican. No question about it, he's got his mirrors busy. And he's not the only man on a comeback charge either. There is Chris Healy, number 2, just ahead of Phil DeWitt now. And Healy, don't forget, spun having started second in this race. So Vatican and Healy charging up the field. Vatican in fourth at the moment, but the Saunderses are ganging up on him. There is 33, Jason Saunders. Now it's Linus Stern for the Saunders family. Behind them, Paul Fuller, 39, coming under pressure from Chris Healy. Healy sneaked past. Very nicely taken position there. And Healy now putting Jason Saunders in the 968 Club Sport under pressure. 944 Turbo whistles past up the hill. Chasing David Saunders in the Carrera. So David makes it into the chicane ahead of Chris Healy. Jason behind him. Meanwhile, Mark Sumter leads Robert Babbickham. Babbickham really looking to try and make his way past if he ever can. Paul Fuller hanging on to the tail there of this group. And I don't think this is all over by any stretch of the imagination. Oh dear, brakes on mid-corner in a 911. Not sure that that was the easiest way of controlling that, mind you, when you've got your foot in at that sort of speed. It's a bit hard not to, I guess. Through they go then, and here is the battle. Chris Healy applying all the pressure to David Saunders. Saunders forcing him to look wide. Healy trying to take a tight line through, and it pays off. Saunders gets very, very crossed up mid-chicane, and Healy breezes past, maybe even a little wave if he wasn't so busy changing gear, accelerating away. And the other Saunders is in trouble. Jason is being attacked by number 39, Paul Fuller. Didn't get past that time, but Fuller and DeWitt in their identical black 911s, looking very menacing behind the 968. And he goes off. Oh, no, he doesn't. But a very, very wide line there into the complex, and I'm afraid that may put Jason Saunders under all sorts of pressure. Yes, the 911's closer than ever. Meanwhile, least we forget, Johnny Molam leads this race by a country mile, and there he is. Just to remind ourselves what his car looks like, the number 97993. Paul Fuller going around the long way, being too brave. Oh, it's not going to stop. Into the barriers as well, a big thump. That'll cost. Chris Healy here now up with this third place battle. And Rob Babbickham under pressure from Healy now. He's been doing all the moving. But the 944 right with him, and it looks at the moment as if Healy could be the fastest of this trio. Riding with Babbickham then. Ahead of him Mark Sumter, behind him, or is it alongside now? Healy can't see anything in the rearview mirror except for Babbickam's helmet. Let's see when they come up to the corner. Does he get the line? No, he doesn't. He is alongside him. Healy passes. Babbickham staying out wide for a very good reason, because there was a car between him and the curb. So Healy now in fourth position, and in among the slower cars, Johnny Molam. So reeling out the last lap, the leader under no pressure at all. Richard Finney behind him, a long way behind him in second. And then this battle for third. Mark Sumter now must worry about Chris Healy. And this has been some drive. Sumter, Healy and Babbickham. Let's follow them through then. Robert Babbickham dropping away. Closing under braking into the complex. See that Healy is certainly pulling away. Babbickham in fifth, dropping back. Meanwhile, up to the chicane comes Johnny Molam. Hasn't put a wheel wrong since the lights changed from red to green. And rewarded with the first flutters of the checkered flag. Round 3 of the Porsche Cup goes to Johnny Molam. Second place has been decided, but not third. It all comes down to the run to the flag. Sumter there, holding off Chris Healy. And Babbickham miles away. You can't even